Hello everyone, how is everyone doing today? If 0 is the lowest and 10 is the highest, what would be the number of your happiness today? Below 5 or more than 5? If your number is below 5, this is the red flags telling you that something went wrong today. The question is, what's stopping you from getting the full score of happiness as you deserve? Today, I am going to share with you the 5 most powerful and practical daily reflections mentioned by the Buddha, which can help us to lessen our worry quickly, increase our happiness, and deepening our inner peace within. So let's hang out with our great teacher, the Buddha. In order for us to fully understand these 5 daily reflections, we must understand the law of nature. This law of nature refers specifically to the 3 laws of common characteristics of all things, namely Anicca, Dukkha, and Anatta. I believe everyone is familiar with this term, but just to recap, Anicca is known as impermanent. Everything continues to change and nothing lasts forever. This is the idea of Anicca. Dukkha comes with the sense of being oppressed, unsatisfactoriness, worry, and concern. And because of the feeling of being oppressed, that's why nothing can remain the same. It continues to change moment to moment. And that is why it causes us suffering. And the last one is Anatta. Anatta comes with the idea of non-self or uncontrollable. Basically, we have no authority to control anything in this world. Everything comes to exist, everything continues to change, and eventually everything will fall apart. These 3 laws of nature only govern conditioned phenomena. What is conditioned phenomena? For example, this body composed of at least 4 elements. First is called earth elements, something solid in the body. Our nail, our teeth, our bone, this is earth element. Second one is called water element, something liquid in the body, right? We have blood, we have urine, we have saliva in the body. And the third element is called a fire element. The body has temperature. If it's too hot or if it's too cold, and then we may get sick. And the fourth element is called wind elements. Just like the breath that we take, there is a gas in the body, and these are 4 elements that make us human beings. And the Buddha mentioned all conditioned things will subject into these 3 laws of common characteristic, which is impermanent, continue to change, being oppressed, and uncontrollable. For the Buddhist monk, we do morning and evening chanting on a daily basis. And in the morning and evening chanting, these 5 daily reflections are incorporated into the chanting, so the monk can reflect on this every single day. The Buddha suggests both monk and the lay people to reflect on these 5 daily reflections, not just one time. The more, the better for you. So let's take a look what are these 5 daily reflections into each one of them. First, it is said, we are subject to aging. We have not gone beyond aging. What is meant by aging? There are 2 kinds of aging. The first one is noticeable aging. As we grow up, as a baby, to be a children, to be adult, to getting older, we notice that the body has gone through a lot of change. From the black hair, turn to gray hair, from the beautiful skin, turn to the wrinkled skin, from having lots of energy, moving toward less and less energetic. And this is called noticeable aging. It takes some time to realize that we're getting old. And another form of aging is called unnoticeable aging. Scientists discover that every 1 minute, 300 million cells die every 1 minute. When exactly that we're getting old? And the answer is, the moment that we were born, that moment is the moment that we're getting old. Because the body is continuing to change non-stop, moment to moment. And all of us, we subject to this phenomena, no exception. And the second reflection is, we are subject to illness. We have not gone beyond illness. At the moment, you may be feeling healthy, feeling well, everything looks good. But in fact, in this physical body, it comes with disease. At the moment that we were born, we have virus, we have bacteria, we have fungus in the body. But the reason the body still functions properly because we have a good immune system. That is why we're not getting ill. As we grow up, we notice that from time to time we're getting sick. We have headache, we have fever, we get a cold, and some of us get infected by the virus COVID-19. And many people out there having a fatal disease, having cancer, heart disease, lung disease. This is called illness. And all of us, we subject to this illness. We don't know when we're going to get sick, and we don't know when it's going to be happening. But we know we will get sick from time to time. And the third one, the Buddha suggests us to reflect on that. We are subject to death. None of us have gone beyond death. Death is all around. We know our birthday, but we have no idea when would be the last day of our life. We don't know when we're gonna die, we don't know where we're gonna die, and we don't know how we're gonna die. But we know for sure that we all have to die one day. 100 years ago, none of us exist, and 100 years from now, none of us wouldn't be here either. So death is coming for sure. And number 4, we are subject to be separated from the thing we love, including the thing that we don't like as well. You may have experienced something like this many times. Lost in relationship, lost in health, lost in business, separate from the thing you love, whether you leave them first or they leave you first. But separation is something that normally happening to all of us. And the last one is very interesting. The Buddha suggests us to reflect on the law of cause and action, or the law of kamma. Whatever action that we do, whether good or whether bad, we will have to be responsible for those consequences. In other words, whatever good thing and bad thing we do, to that will keep following us, just like the wheel following behind the ox wherever the ox is going. These are the 5 daily reflections that the Buddha suggests all of us, whether you are a monk or the lay people, to reflect on this more often. The more, the better for you. It seems to be a mundane or superficial information. Everyone is getting old, everyone is getting ill, eventually everyone has to die, and we all have to separate from the thing we love and the thing we don't like. It seems to be understandable. Please do not take the teaching of the Buddha lightly. We need to develop something called yoniso manasikara, or wise reflection. We need to reflect on what we just learned deeply, so we can fully understood and be able to put everything into practice more effectively. The first 4 daily reflections about being subject to aging, subject to illness, subject to death, and subject to separation. These 4 things will be happening and nothing much we can do about it. Basically, they are unobtainable. We cannot tell ourselves to remain young forever. We cannot control people we love to stay with us forever. We cannot do that. It's just unobtainable. But number 5, I think is quite interesting, that we subject to the law of kamma. Whatever good and bad we do, we will have to be responsible for those consequences. I believe the last factor is very powerful information to know and to understand. Because if we understand how the law of kamma works, the nature of all things, it helps us to let go, have more understanding toward others, and perhaps can develop more loving kindness and compassion toward others. For example, if someone says something bad to you today, someone do something bad to you today, whether they are good or bad people, they are subject to these 5 things, just like all of us. They're getting old, they're getting ill, eventually they're dying. And whatever they do, it's become their kamma. They do bad, they will get bad. They do good, they receive good. But if they say something bad to you and you return the bad word to them, or you return bad action to them, now it's become your kamma. You create negative kamma for your own self. And at the end of the day, nobody is happy. There are many benefits of reflecting on these 5 daily reflections on a daily basis. For example, it helps us to develop something called the right will, or right understanding toward the nature of things. There are something we can fix, something we cannot fix. If it's fixable, we can try to find a way to fix it in a wholesome way. If it's unfixable, then we have to learn how to accept and let it go. For example, if someone we love passed away, or we lost something that we love, once we understand the nature of these things, it helps us to lessen suffering in our life, because we ourselves also subject to the same condition. One day we're getting ill, and eventually we all have to die. I believe these 5 daily reflections, they are very powerful and very practical way for all of us to put into practice. So if things doesn't go well as you expect today, please sit back, relax, and reflect on these 5 daily reflections. I hope it helps you to feel much better, and you can continue moving on toward your life much happier. Namo Buddhaya.